if you've ever wondered how you can take your yoga practice deeper, how you can go beyond a surface level practice and into one that has real depth and possibility to liberate you, to help you feel more playful, more pleasure, more free, more in touch with your innermost self and your soul, then this is for you, because I know so many of you have found value as a woman in practicing yoga. You felt that shift at the end of your practice. You felt the difference that it makes for you, even just as you move through the day after you've practiced. You may have gone to a yoga teacher training before. You may have studied at a studio or done some workshops or things like that. And so now you're sitting at that intersection of, I understand that there's more available to me in the depth that could be possible with my yoga practice, but I don't really know how to access that. And so if that's you, and you're also seeing some patterns show up in your life that don't serve you, you are seeing yourself fall back into the same grooves emotionally or playing at a certain level in your life, but you'd like to expand that. You'd like to let more good things in, whether it be romantic relationships or friendships with women or building a village and community or more money, or feeling like your mental health is improved or your relationship with your body and your self image and body image is improved. If you also got like some complicated stuff going on, if you're human, just like me, just like all the women in my world, then this conversation is going to help you with those things. So, first and foremost, I want to celebrate any amount of yoga practice that you've done up to this point because it has been valuable and helpful for you. And every single time that you have clicked play on a video or gone to a class or rolled out your mat and simply explored or sat for a meditation or logged into Insight Timer or whatever it is, you've been doing something positive for yourself and you've been listening on some level to your intuition to do those practices in some kind of an ongoing way, whether it's been weekly or inconsistently, no matter what. That is a win, girl, and I want to celebrate that with you. So let's talk about how you can go from where you are in your relationship to going further in. And so the first thing to know is that yoga is working on the four pillars of you. It is not just meant for one part, it is meant for all of you. It is an integration and liberation of the self. It is about expressing our human magnificence. And so yoga has these four pillars that it works on. It works on your body. It works on your energy body is included in that, your nervous system, all the physical stuff going on. It works on your mind and it works on your spirit and it works on your life. And so just know, like right out of the go, okay, yoga is working on all four of these layers of me. And as I said, when it's working on the physical, it's your entire physical body. It's all of it. But it's also your energy body. It's the subtle body, the chakra system, the nadis, the prana, the vital life energy moving through you. It's also, when it comes to your mind, it's not just your thoughts. It's also your emotions. It's your intellect. It's your wisdom. It's your drishti, the way that you're perceiving the world, your perception that you're looking through. It's the past experiences that inform the now that have to do with your nervous system and your body and your psyche. It's desire, right? It's all these things. It's also your spirit. I would say at the core, particularly in my approach, at the very core is your soul, because I'm really interested in putting your soul back in the driver's seat of your, like, proverbial vehicle so that what's steering you through this beautiful life is actually your soul. It is also working on your life. And so there are many different aspects of systems of yoga that are specifically designed to help you in your relationship with your life in general. Everything from like what media you take in, like what you're letting yourself be influenced by, what choices you're making, how you're managing yourself and your time and your sacred energy, your most important resource, right? But it's also how you're growing through what you're experiencing, your relationships. It's what you're offering your life up to. Is this just about you as an individual human, or is it about something bigger than you? Is it about collective goodness? Is it about God? Is it about being an instrument for God's work in this world? Like all of that stuff. So just go ahead and start looking at your yoga practice. Like right there, that might be a real shift in depth for you. Looking at your yoga practice as this 4-pillar way rather than just something that you do that impacts your body in some pretty cool ways or impacts your mental health in some pretty cool ways. Bring in that 4-pillared perspective when it comes to your yoga practice. Another thing that you can do is obviously learn about yoga philosophy. Yoga philosophy is quite complex though, and I find that so many people, when you get into yoga philosophy, that you can get in the weeds pretty quickly. And so some introductory text in case you don't know about them. I really like a book called The Yamas and the Niyamas, and it's by Deborah Adele. And there's also really great books that talk about them from different angles. There's the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is really wonderful. There's many different translations of that. There's the Bhagavad Gita, which is another great yogic text that really helps you to see my favorite perspective on the role of the soul in the yoga practice and how that's really at the center. And so you could read about yoga philosophy, but I'll break down a couple of different parts of yoga philosophy that I think are really important for you to know about right here from the start. And one aspect is that you're a soul in a role. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And this is at the very, very core of yoga philosophy. You're not just a human. You're not the finances in your bank account. That doesn't define you. You're not your health. You're not the quality of your relationship with your partner. You're not those things. Those are your experiences. You're the soul in that equation. And so yoga is constantly wanting us to remind us that we're a soul in a role. We're having this human experience. And the other part of it, is my teacher, Harshita Wagner, teaches, is that you're a soul in a role with a God-sized whole. And so this is really important because it tells us that some of the ways that we suffer, some of the things that we're looking for, actually has to do with our connection to our own soul and to the infinite, as we want to describe it. And it's your business how you want to describe the infinite. You could call it God. You could look at it from a Christian point of view. You could look at it from an atheist point of view. That one doesn't make as much sense to me with the yoga philosophy, I'll be honest. But if you're atheist and you're like, girl, I totally get it. Here's my connection point. Write about it and let me know. But the yoga philosophy is just telling us, like, however you want to view it. I'm a spiritual misfit. I love many different ways of looking at the path up the mountain to God. Not any one particular way just nails it all down for me. But it's this idea that we're actually looking to fill in is a connection to the divine on so many levels. That's what we're seeking. The great mystery of life, right? Other parts of yoga philosophy that I really like to understand are the klesha. And the klesha are the 5 afflictions. These are the reasons why we suffer. And in particular, these have a lot to do with not actually seeing things for how they really are. And it comes down to drishti, our perspective with which we're seeing the world. And some of that's our wanting to avoid things that we don't like. We want to get away from suffering. We want to get away from uncomfortable feelings. We want to avoid doing things that are like nitty gritty and hard for us to do. That's why some of you are avoiding balancing your checkbook or making that appointment with your therapist or whatever it is. We can avoid it, or cleaning out that room in your house. Others are that we really want to gravitate towards things that we do like. So we want to do more of the things that we enjoy doing, and we want to keep doing that. Some of it has to do with our struggles around impermanence. We don't like change. Even our mortality is woven into the yoga philosophy. Like, ultimately, truthy truth here, you're going to die one day. So am I. These souls are going to leave these bodies. And so it's yoga philosophy is asking us to look at the ways that we suffer and the ways that we cling and the way that we hold tight, and then to challenge that and open it up. So the klesha are a great way to look into that. There are so many more things that we could talk about here, but I just kind of wanted to plant some seeds for you today on how you might deepen your yoga practice in terms of philosophy, but also in terms of just the way that you practice. And so your initiation possibility, like what's possible here, is to be initiated into a way of practicing that is completely different. It is not just about surface level aims. It is about the integration of those 4 pillars of you. And so any yoga practice you'll do with me, I've been in this field for 20 years as a practitioner. I've been teaching and working as a yoga therapist for 17 years. And so looking for more senior teachers would be helpful. And I am just now starting to believe that I'm a senior teacher, giving myself permission to lean into that because we all need people further down the path. I have teachers that are way further down the path than me that I'm learning from because I recognize that they can integrate, they can like walk me into the depth of what's possible. They can hold that space for me. And so the way you're practicing can change. You can look for more senior level teachers that know how to weave these different worlds together because the reality is that a lot of yoga teachers out there, and I love you so much if you're one of them, I'm celebrating how much work you're doing. It's really hard to become a yoga teacher. There's a lot that we have to learn and think about and integrate. And in those earlier years of teaching, it's really hard to bring in these more complicated aspects and weave it all together into a yoga experience. So just know that if you're a yoga teacher, you're doing a great job. And if you are looking for a yoga teacher that's more seasoned, that can be a big help for you because they have more skill, they have more practice time, they have more time to weave all this stuff together. So senior teachers that give you time to work on all 4 of those pillars. Work on the body, work on the energy body as part of that, work on the mind, work on the emotions as part of that, work on the spirit as a huge part of that, work on the life aspect. So that's a way that you can kind of identify, am I getting to touch on all these different areas when I practice yoga? Because that is the kind of teacher, that is the kind of practice that's going to help you go deeper. And if spirituality is being left out of the conversation, that's not going to be a yoga practice. It's going to help you go deeper too. So look for it to touch on those different things. Look for spirituality to be unapologetically involved in it because that is literally what yoga is at the core, is a spiritual framework, a spiritual tool set, a spiritual practice. All this other stuff is very surface level, and that's at the core. If you want to practice with me, I have a free practice. It's called Come Home to Your Body. It's 10 minutes. You can do it with me today. And it will give you a little taste of what my practices feel like because these can be physical practices, it can be meditations, breath work, chanting, can be many different things. But also, I have many other ways that I can support you, one of which is called the Nourished Woman Sanctuary. And it is a membership where you join and you get access to 15 to 30-minute videos that literally deliver this depth in bite-sized practices that you can do anytime, day or night, and they're based on the science of your nervous system, and you're getting all these different things weaved together in an experience that you can be held by and supported by on an ongoing basis, anytime, day or night. And you can find out more about that down in the description for the episode. Let me know what stood out for you about this episode in the comments if you have any questions. I really love having a conversation with you all. That's my favorite part about engaging in YouTube or on social media or just being with people in person and my podcast. I love the conversations that I get to have with you all as part of that. See you in another video, love.